We are live.
All right, I'll back out for a minute.
Okay.
I'm glad some people have got some technical know-how because I'm still trying to set up a website to get an email.
Mm-hmm.
I need an email to set up book funnel and newsletters. I'm absolutely useless.
I know, man. As soon as you figure this shit out, somebody changes it.
Yeah, that's even worse. It takes me long enough to learn anything. You know, I'm from the generation that's meant to pick stuff up quickly, but I'm like my dad. My dad's a complete technophobe. They tried to bring in a new tablet system. He's a plumber as well. And they handed it over to him and said, Nigel, you've got to use this from now on. He just took one look at it and handed it back. Give me the jobs in paper like we've always had. No, Nigel, you've got to log your jobs like on this and the time you arrived at the job, the materials you used, the stuff, how long you took. No. but Nigel, everybody in the whole company's got to use this system. No. And in the end, they got so annoyed with him, they just gave him his jobs in paper form.
Damn. Hey, at least they didn't get to fire him.
I'm sure it's pretty much the same over there in terms of trades. We are woefully undernumbered in terms of plumbers, electricians, roofers, bricklayers, everyone across the whole spectrum. The government was meant to kick in training schemes and all sorts years ago. We're still losing more to retirement than we're training massively. And now, I've left teaching plumbing, heating and gas the other day. I think we lost half our staff at the college in the past 2 weeks. That means about 7 groups of apprentices aren't going to get taught now because the environment's just toxic. Education is utterly poisonous. So, I don't know what's going to happen in terms of long term. There's not enough people training, but anyway, that's by the by. That's not fun and that's not interesting. That's not zombies. Woo!
Well, here we go.
And speaking of which, we are actually live right now.
Oh, sorry everyone for me waffling about the joys of education.
We're flapping our gums just for fun. Welcome to anybody nobody's joined us yet because Dee hasn't done her magic yet. But anyway, for those who listen to this after we go live, welcome to. Let me see if I get this title.
Yeah, this is a long title.
We just came up with this thing this morning, so it's still a work in progress. Wordpeddler Society presents The Padded Room.
And me and Jeff settled on The Padded Room. Literally, I am not making this up, while I was pushing a buggy through Kroger buying groceries. I would stop in the middle of an aisle, pull my phone out of my pocket, see the text back, get back in my pocket, move a few more feet. He would text me back, pull it out, and people behind me are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Look, dude, this is serious business. Get off me."
They're both writers and readers. Because you can always, you can find, I don't know how many podcasts that have a bunch of writers flapping their gums at each other and telling ourselves how great we all are. But we don't really exist without the readers.
Indeed.
So Jack, being the uber reader fan that he is,
cream of the crop,
absolutely started doing this stuff on his own.
Please keep going.
And it started to occur to me that, well, maybe we should bring some more readers in. To that end, we have two other readers beside Jack, who are supposed to be joining us. One's trying and is having technical issues.
She's on her way home.
She's on her way home.
When she gets home, she's going to jump on. Her phone's just not letting her.
Yeah, it ain't happening. There's Dee again.
Welcome back.
We have our 3 writers, myself, DJ Cooper, and Mr. Ricky Fleet. And we have our 3 supposedly readers. One is Jack, of course. Okay, here's the second one. Mr. Dave Ferris. How you doing, Dave?
What's up, Dave?
Yeah.
Hi, Dave.
Your timing couldn't have been better. We just introduced you. And
there's Dave. Hey, Dave.
Hey.
And Joe Lynn's going to try and join us.
She'll be a little late, but she'll be around.
She'll be here. She'll be here. So anyway, that's the idea: is to not only promote ourselves, because shameless self promotion, let's face it, is what the author end of this is, but how are we supposed to know what the readers want? How are we supposed to know what they like, what ideas they have, and what they're completely sick of if we don't hear from them? And the
And
one
we
thing,
promise not to steal the ideas that they have as well.
exactly, exactly, friendly larceny, call it.
And hell, y'all probably figured out by now, a lot of us will give the stuff up freely anyway. It's like, if I get a chance to read something I suggested to you, yeah, hell yeah, it's worth it. Take it.
Throw them in the hat.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's the basic idea: is to have a conversation back and forth between readers and writers, and see where this goes. The first time we did it, well, Jack, you were there, so why don't you explain it?
Um, okay, now run that by me again there. I
The
was looking
first
over
time,
it.
the first time you did it, you, me, Jamie.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, my
Mhm.
God. That was one of the coolest experiences I've probably had in my life. And I've had a lot of cool, fun things that I've got to do, thankfully. But to get to sit down and literally talk to an author, ask direct questions, be very specific about why did you do this? Are these people you really know? To just get to know the actual nuts and bolts of everything was so much fun. And it was what worked out great was Jeff, if I remember right, you had just finished your takeover and you were just kind of hanging around with Jamie, waiting to make sure everything was going to be cool. And you wound up hanging out with us for a while. So me and Clark Morris, who is also a big super fan like me, he got the pleasure of a 2-for-1. We had both of you there, and that was so interesting. And I mean, honestly, I'm not going to lie. Back then, I was still super nerd about it. So I've already got my hands sitting on my knees shaking because I was so nervous about I'm getting to talk to these authors. This is absolutely insane. Are you kidding me? And I'm telling you, man, as a fan, getting to do something like that, even if it's terrifying at first, is one of the most fulfilling things you're going to have if you're a true reader or listener. Because that's with my eyes getting bad, I've pretty much become more of a listener these days. And it means the world to us. It absolutely means the world to us getting to pick your brain in person.
Can I interject something here real quick? Can we talk about this super fan status
I've been
thing?
wondering about that, where it came from.
By all means.
Well, I think that most of us can agree that Jack pretty much kind of wins that super fan.
Yep.
And there he goes. Here he
Yeah,
goes.
he's going to get it. He's going to get it.
Yeah. And before I lose signal again, which keeps happening to me right now, I just wanted to take a quick moment, which was so let's see it, Jack.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, first, I'm going to give a little quick backstory on this real quick. I get a text message from my mom saying that I've had a package delivered and apparently I've won some kind of trophy. And I'm like, I won no trophy. I didn't enter no contest. Said it's probably an author sending me a book because I've got more coming. And that was just a box they had lying around. She's like, oh, okay, whatever. So I get home and I crack the box open. And if y'all could have been here to see the look on my face, even though I couldn't see the look on my face, I'm sure it was a absolute look of bewilderment. Like I'm looking down going, okay. And so I pull out the first piece and I go, oh, there's a stand. So I put it together and I'm staring at it. Immediately I had to launch an investigation. I had to figure out where this came from. When it all finally got revealed to me what I got, why I got it, guys, it touched my heart in a way you tell me a year ago that I'm sitting here right now with this beautiful thing in my hands doing what I'm getting to do right now. I'm not just calling you crazy. I'm calling the cops. Get the hell out of my yard.
Well deserved, though.
Here this is. If I can get it to where there, that's a little better. I can get out of the damn way of it. A lot of background. I received this from these fine folks for basically reading. I mean, that's what it comes down to. But the difference is
It was a little bit more involved than that, Jack.
It's a
But
little
this
more
thing-
involved than that, Jack. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, how about somebody explain the rest of it to me? Because the investigation is still ongoing. I know who the culprits are. I just don't have a motive yet.
Well, Dee and I started talking about it. Specifically about you, because that's an obvious one. It's a given.
Did you see it through the contract?
But again, the whole idea is we don't exist without you guys. If we don't have readers, we're just writing for ourselves and paper's just accumulating. That's all it is. So she and I have for a long time been talking about the importance of getting you guys involved in this, getting input from you guys. Because here's the thing. The bane of every writer's existence is reviews. We never get enough of them. We send our books out and we hope that people review them. And even if there's thousands of people reading our books, we'll get like 2 reviews.
Well, also the thing with Jack is that not only was Jack a huge fan, of not just started out in the undead group, and then it extended into the apocalypse group, and then he's over in the asylum, and which is our horror group, and he's doing podcasts and interviewing authors, and all of this Jack did on his own time, and took the initiative. And if you look at the wall behind him, he sets us up, like these important books are behind him. They're on the wall, and honestly, it touched us probably more than sending that small token to Jack. But Jack, that's not it. There's more. You have been awarded not just the Super Fan Award for 2021 from Authors of the Apocalypse, but with that comes a $50 gift card from Amazon that I'll be emailing over to you later. But I didn't want to just send it over until you knew why you were getting that one. But congratulations, Jack. We really do appreciate you. And now you're stuck doing this podcast with Jeff every month.
Yeah.
I would not trade this for anything in the world. I love that big guy right there. Y'all just don't even understand. That's my big snuggly Jeffy right there. I would not change him for nothing.
Now, I also have to do one other small shout out. Also joining us is Dave Ferris. Now, real quick, I have to tell you the story of Dave Ferris. So Dave and I met, and I was coming back from an expo, and I was talking to him on the thing, and I said, well, I'm going to be traveling through, was it Baltimore, Dave, I think? With
yes.
I was with Eric and Danielle, a survivalist, and he mentioned something, and I'm like, dude, I got books. So we met up at was it a Bob Evans? Or
ooh, those are good.
Bob Evans?
I'm not sure what it was.
It was something like a Bob Evans, and we hung out and had the best time. And Dave has been part of the groups and in there, and he's always reviewing everybody's book. So, I mean, Jack went like way over and above, but we're going to be giving these trophies out every year for our top super fan. But Dave is the reason I invited Dave to be part of this show as well. Is Dave, you are our second super fan, and you get a $25 gift card to Amazon as well.
Hell yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
Well,
You guys
from
never
my
cease
own,
to amaze me.
yeah, speaking from my own, it's
We just want you to know how much we love you and appreciate you. We appreciate all that you do. You guys share our books, you review our books, you encourage others to read our books. And we really appreciate that. We, like Jeff said, we wouldn't be anywhere without you.
Well, I
it's
can tell
hard
you
to
now.
sometimes get that message across. No, sorry, Jack, carry on, bud.
What I was always going to say is I know where my 50's going. It's going to get me 2 more frames for 2 more of the world's great indie authors to go up on this wall right here.
I don't know if you can see.
In fact, I've got a frame arriving today.
See the rain behind him.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say is it's this, Jeff, this idea is absolutely fantastic, and Dee as well, obviously. it's hard to communicate to the readers how much we actually appreciate them taking a chance on somebody that is not Stephen King, that doesn't have the
I'll go out.
backing of a traditional publisher behind them, and being someone that is, speaking for myself, naturally quite private. I don't normally put myself out there in terms of this kind of thing. What you were saying earlier, Jack, about sitting on your hands because you're so nervous, I'm still like that now. It's still quite nerve-wracking. I taught for 10 years in front of groups that was horrible every day because I don't like speaking and I'm normally quite shy and reserved. But having the opportunity to do this, and the Jeff and Dee coming up with the ideas of actually being able to thank you properly is phenomenal, and I'm with it all the way, because we absolutely love you guys. Even if we don't say it, even if you can't see it, we can't get it to you, in word form or whatever. Just know that we are nothing without you guys. 100%. We are nothing. We are just building up paper, as Jeff quite rightly said. And as I say, I might not say it all the time because I can't get it out there because I'm not naturally, approach people and just jump on them. But yeah, it's from the bottom of my heart, guys, it is absolutely phenomenal what you do. You make us.
And the thing is, when we write this stuff, it's all in here. It's all inside our own heads. But it doesn't mean anything until you guys give it that meaning.
100%.
So we can't do this without you guys. I'm astounded that this isn't universal throughout social media. That these indie writers are constantly just getting on our knees and thanking you guys.
Well, I can tell you this right off the rip. I'm almost to the end of Guardians of the Apocalypse Book 2. And I have found myself on more than one occasion almost pausing the book to go look up a coordinate that you gave out for a ship's position, because I just want to know, like, where is this exactly? And I'm probably going to eventually do it. It's pretty much floating around, hoping we don't get dead. And again, as a fan, getting to learn things like how each of you guys come up with why you wrote what you wrote. And I discover so often that the reason Ricky wrote a book could be completely different than the reason that Jeff wrote a book, why Dee wrote a book. And yet you guys kind of have the same similar interests, but you put your own spin on it. And that is so much fun.
Just different lived experiences, isn't it? One of my biggest regrets is that I don't have. I've got a family in the military, but I never served myself. So I've got massive respect for anybody that does and did. And I sometimes I wish that I could put a spin on it that would come across as genuine. But all my writing is just done from sort of point of view of asking people favors and research. So it's people come into the genre with military background, and that gives them a whole area that they can write in that seems genuine. It's one of the reasons I picked an everyday family with a plumber as the husband. It's what I know.
Well, it's like you got Jeff. He's retired Coast Guard. So
absolutely,
we're hanging with the Coast Guard, and nobody's done that I've ever seen as far as, a zombie apocalypse.
And that's why I wrote the book, because nobody's ever done it. But speaking of that, Rick, I picked up your first Hellspawn book today.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
The audio book. And
hey guys, I'm going to pop out for a few minutes, and I'll come back in a little bit.
Sure.
As you can see, I am in the middle of visiting. I'm in Denver with my family, and I'm going to do some visiting. So
say hello for us all.
But I'll back after it.
Well, hello.
Congratulations. We love you guys.
Love you back. Love you more.
Okay, so Lynn is still trying to get in, I guess, but I'm not having any luck.
It's like 1995 dial-up, isn't it?
Anyway, so I noticed from the blurb on your book two things. One, that the cause of the undead rising was some kind of strange particle emitted by a scientific experiment.
Yeah, I don't trust that stuff.
Which I think is a really cool idea. The second thing I noticed is that you pointed out that there aren't a whole lot of guns laying around in the UK like there are here.
No.
I mean, you guys have had gun laws in place since what, like the 16th century or some shit?
Yeah, it seems our government was a little bit worried that we'd get angry at some of the stuff they do. And the way they've been going for the past 30, 40 years, I think they're probably right to have taken our guns off us, let's be honest. It's obviously all the shows that come out, sort of The Walking Dead and stuff like that. There's ammunition everywhere, there's guns everywhere.
That's America.
Over here, we've got our own issues. It's one of the reasons that I didn't write them as runner zombies, because England would go dark within a day if they were runners. We wouldn't have a chance. Harsh language and like a posh accent would not defeat hordes of runners. So,
but you'd sound really good doing it.
But yeah, as I say, it's more like I say, coming from the point of view of ever since I first saw Night of the Living Dead, God knows how many years ago. I think I was about 10, something like that. I've said the story before, but I was a little shitbag when I was a youngster, and I put on the TV late at night, and I caught the last half of a black and white film. Didn't really know what was going on, and it basically focused on the part where Barbara and that are in the house, and it's the bit where they go for the pumps and all the other bits and pieces. And I was absolutely hooked. I didn't know what it was. First thing I'd done the next day was I opened up the old TV guide, because we used to have TV guides back then.
Yeah.
I found out it was Romero's. Exactly. It was Romero's 1968, the original black and white Night of the Living Dead. And I was hooked ever since. But once again, they've got sort of lever action rifles. They've got guns coming out of the wazoo. We've got cutlery and sofa cushions and... I'm just
pillow
looking
fight
around.
With a zombie.
Well, yeah. I'm just looking at. I've got a pack of biscuits that I could probably do some damage with. But ultimately, as I say, it's Hellspawn kind of answers the question in some ways. I mean, realistically, we'd be dead anyway. But it kind of answers the question in what would our hapless society with no guns, other than what we can scavenge. The old 2.2 rimfires from farmers. The old sort of birdshot shotguns that you end up getting if you've gone through all the massive checks that you can get. It kind of answered that question, and then slowly but surely I sort of brought in aspects of, the military in terms of they're not all powerful. They've been wiped out. They did what they needed to do. They tried to evacuate population centres, and it went absolutely wrong. So it doesn't focus overly on the military in terms of that side of it, more a case of, the remnants are trying to do what they can with very little in the way of equipment and ammunition. So it still builds on the sort of family side of it and the everyday people side of it. And the one thing that we do have in abundance in England is really, really old buildings that would be phenomenal in the event of a Romero Zombie. Arundel Castle is the focal point when you get further into the books, and it's I used to go there when I was a youngster, and the first thing that crosses my mind, and I'm sure it's the same with all of you, how could I defend this place in the Zompok? Everywhere I go, I'm thinking, you're looking at exits, you're looking at what I can use, and it's kind of that. But as I say, I've got your book on my Kindle, Jeff. I've got pretty much everyone's books across the Written Undead family and anybody that's supported me. The trouble is the TBR pile is just monstrously big.
Oh my God.
And I get what I basically do is I read one at a time from everybody that, is either in the Written Undead or, people in the other group that we might not necessarily talk about, but I'm still good friends with. And I'll read them one at a time. The trouble with that is obviously by the time I get round to reading the second one of the book, I ain't got the faintest idea what they're doing. So I'm kind of undoing myself with that. But that's kind of, I waffled on for a bit there, so apologies.
No problem.
Here's a spin-off idea, and I'm amazed nobody tried this. Monty Python versus the Zombies.
Oh, yeah.
I would watch that. I would watch that.
Yeah, it's...
And if you could find a way to work in a computer-animated Benny Hill, totally be on board with that.
The music would work really well while they're being pursued. It would be phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Well, they say attack the zombies with the comfy pillow and.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I might have to do a little short story like that and chuck it out as a freebie.
Well, Dave, I want to ask you a question since you're my fellow super fan over there.
Okay.
What is your favorite thing about zombie books? What is the thing that makes you go, I need to read this next book? Why do you love zombies like I like zombies?
I'm not a big zombie.
Really? So what is it? What's your fix?
I like the post-apoc. Too many zombie stuff is too heavy in unbelievable things that they do.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I have
Huh?
I said, yeah. I said, you're right. I mean, there's some wild shit that goes down there.
Yeah. I guess I've had a couple of books that I've read that I guess were classified as zombie, but they didn't act like the typical zombie. And those I can handle, but I don't know what it is, but for some reason, the just far out there stuff, I just don't like it that much.
Okay.
I like a semi-realistic post-apoc, you know.
So who are you reading right now?
Hang on a second here.
Uh-oh, he's about to show us.
EMP Lodge.
Oh, you went black on us.
Oh, okay.
Ain't modern technology grand?
It's the most wonderful thing in the world.
He was just mentioning EMP, so you never know.
There you go.
Where the heck did it go? I can
talk to that.
There you go.
There he is.
EMP Lodge. It's a 6-book series.
Okay.
It's set in the mountains around Washington State. But there's a strictly, I'm trying to think what caused it now. Well, I mean, obviously an EMP, but it's all the different people, some of them preppers, some of them not, you know, and people learning to adjust. I enjoy seeing the people actually learn something out of it.
So now, have you followed DJ Cooper's series, the one that she had? In fact, she's got a new book coming out off of it, and that would be her sitting right up there with her series yet. Have you checked out DJ?
Oh, yeah. I've read all of hers.
So now, how did you feel about the character twist? I'm not going to say anything that gives any spoilers away because I never saw this coming, but it was one of my most favorite things in her series was how she took this one character that she made you not like and literally flipped the character just out of nowhere, and suddenly she becomes a favorite. How did you feel about that without giving away who it is? And
I thought it was great. To me, the character development and the realistic locations. I mean, I hate to see a standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona, and they start describing it, and it's actually over in Arkansas. And, you know, I've run into that, or they will do someplace that I've lived for years, and it's like there is no that doesn't work.
The artistic liberties thing.
Yeah. One of the movies I was watching, it was supposedly took place in D.C., which I've lived outside of D.C. for 50 years. But the metro station they showed was up in Baltimore. Now,
well, hey, you got lucky. It could have been up in British Columbia.
You know, but just I guess I like to have a little more reality based than what most Zombie is.
Well, now, hey, to the authors, have you guys thought about doing something like he's just said, a little more realism based, like he's EMP and nuclear attack, just straight up invasion.
I have one series that's 2 of 3 books are written and already published. It's called Pressure. It's about what happens in a small Oregon town in the immediate aftermath of the Yellowstone supervolcano.
Ooh,
Awesome.
saw the documentary on that.
And the reason I haven't finished the 3rd book yet, even though it's been a couple of years, bad writer, is that the events in that book, which detail civilization, society falling apart, were a little bit too close to reality.
Yeah, I think we've all had that the past couple of years.
Yeah. So I'm like, I write the same way I read, which is to escape reality. So, I mean, I like what you said about Dave about things being based realistically.
Yeah.
Which Jack and I have spent many hours talking about this.
Yes.
Yes. It's especially doing zombies or doing, straight on horror or doing science fiction or something like that. The world you build has to be realistic.
Or at least as close as you can get to it.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that Tolkien's books, The Hobbit and the 3 Lord of the Rings books, are so phenomenal is that the world he built seems realistic.
Yeah.
You read The Hobbit and you believe hobbits exist.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the only way. So no matter what we write, it is in everybody's best interest if we make the foundation of it as realistic as possible. So, like what you were saying about, it's supposed to be taking place in one location, but it's describing things in a completely different location. When I'm writing, I will sit there with Google Maps up on the satellite view, and I'll go, okay, you turn down here, you go right here, and then I follow that
completely
for that exact reason.
Yeah,
I'm
and
as grounded in reality as I can.
And I honestly, as a reader, I appreciate that. And like again, going back to the coordinates comment, like you literally went as far as to get coordinates to like for where something could physically be. Like if I look up any coordinates that you put out in your series, I don't expect to suddenly it be like in the middle of Asia. Like it's gonna be where it's supposed to be, and that's badass.
Your fire.
So now, Dave, what do you do for entertainment outside of these wonderful writers? What kind of movies do you follow?
I don't follow much in the way of movies. I have one of the biggest fan Facebook groups for Naked and Afraid.
Oh,
from the Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
I've got, I think I just topped 4,400 members.
Wow.
And about 100 and close to 125 of those are actual cast members from the show.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Oh, damn.
And
That's cool.
I have tried to make it so that it's a safe place to discuss it. There's no nastiness. No, as a matter of fact, I've got about, I think it's 3 guys and 2 girls that were cast members that I banned because they were getting nasty, not only with other cast members, but with the fans. And it's like, we don't need that stuff.
No.
I've never understood that mentality.
No, I haven't either.
Uno momento, I'll be right back.
This one girl had just had fake eyelashes put on before she went to do her show. I don't know how much you know about the show, but they go out for 21 days and they're able to take one item and it's not clothing.
Okay.
So everybody was commenting about her eyelashes. Like, what the hell difference does it make whether they're permanent or fake, or that's not affecting your survival? Don't cut her down.
Yeah.
It's and that's.
I mean,
that
if I'm going to be stranded, I'm going to have my eyelashes on. I'm not going to lie to you. You've got to look your best. You've got to try at least.
That's true. That's true.
But that takes a lot of time.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So I just the price of movies in the theaters. I can't remember the last time I was in a theater.
No, me neither.
It,
They're doing themselves out of business. They're going to go the way of Blockbuster.
Yeah.
You know, it's I don't. They are under threat constantly from streaming services, and all they do to make up the shortfall in their income, instead of cutting the prices to try and draw people back, maybe show old films, stuff like that. You know, cult classics. They up the prices, and you pay £10 a box of popcorn that's been sat there all day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm no business expert, but surely, you know, if you know your extinction is coming, you try and avoid that meteor a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I say, it's out of, you know, by the time you've taken the family, it's out of most people's price range.
Yeah, that's why I don't go to the theater here. I wait for, I've got HBO Max. I've got what's that? Amazon Prime. I've got so many ways to view stuff. It's like it's like everybody's rushing to go see the Batman right now, and I'm like, I'm not paying that much.
It can wait.
I can wait.
But what's funny though is if, say, Jeff were to drop an audiobook that was the next one in the series, and I was caught up on the series, or Ricky's dropped one, it's the next one in the series, I'm caught up on the series, that I'm rushing out to get. So, hey, Hollywood, catch a clue.
Yeah, goodbye, Hollywood. You won't be missed.
No,
they won't. Well, I mean, all they're doing now is superhero movies and reboots.
Well, no, hey, I can't bitch about that now. As a little kid that grew up with the Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk and the old Batman TV series, to get to see the eye candy that they give us now, that is pretty spectacular.
That's true.
Well, yeah, but
there's a lot more six-pack.
That ain't all there is. There's a gazillion stories out there they could be telling.
Yes.
Like problem yours, is they're cowards.
Like his.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
You're right there, Dave.
Man down.
Medic.
Got to love live stuff.
I don't know what they're playing at. I think they're so stuck in their ways that they can't get out of it. I mean, what was the latest one? The Lost Boys remake.
Yeah, don't do that.
Ever going to capture what made that film so phenomenal? You know, the way the cast all worked together.
The noodles.
The kids.
The freaking Chinese noodles.
It is going to be absolutely dire because they don't have the skill or the music to recapture that anymore.
Mm-mm.
But instead of, let's maybe scan the top 100 on Amazon, Kindle. Oh, that sci-fi looks interesting. That horror looks interesting. I'm superhero movied out. Endgame for me was, I haven't watched anything since. I don't care about the new Thor. I haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming, although it's supposed to be phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm looking forward to that one.
I'll probably watch that one.
WandaVision was great.
Yeah, I've not seen it. I've not seen Black Widow, even though I've got it. I'd rather, scroll through Facebook and chat to you lot. I think the time has passed for now. They need to put them to bed for a while. Maybe, being cyclical, they'll come back into fashion like my old Yves Saint Laurent shirts I used to wear.
Well, we just went through the ghost horror movie phase. People get yanked out of their beds and their sheets flying up and all that. We did that, so that's done. The Walking Dead is coming to an end. But when's the last time you really saw a nice 3-part, 4-part, whatever movie series for a zombie film. I mean, for me, the last one that I really enjoyed would have been Resident Evil, because I just love me some Mila. I'm sorry, she's just a badass,
Hard to
absolute
go wrong.
badass.
Hard to go wrong with her.
Yeah,
But-
she did play the role well. What was it? The second movie where she had that weird skin thing going on from the camera. Do any of you remember that? She, like the filters that the girls get these days, where it basically makes their skin absolutely smooth and very strange. I think it was the second movie or something, and everyone else had, their blemished skin, their pores and their moles. But Mia, she every time she was on screen, it was like her face was painted. it was so weird. But yeah, that's just one of the
I guess
weird things
I
noticed.
didn't notice that one. Damn, you got some eyes that I ain't even got.
I'm gonna Google that while you lot chat. I need to know what one that was now.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at her face. I'm sorry.
You wasn't looking at her boobs either.
Oh no, those
Yeah,
are some nice boobs. Those are some nice boobs. I would have plenty of fun with those. But
Well,
I
now
digress.
to keep us from getting in any trouble over here, I will
Yes,
point out
yeah.
one thing about this wall behind me. It's all indie. There is nothing else up there but indie authors. And the reason for that is because, well, they're pretty damn good. And as a fan of, I got my start with Stephen King like so many others did. Then I kind of wandered into Peter Benchley, because Jaws is still to this day quite possibly my favorite movie of all time. It's quotable, it's not just we're going to need a bigger boat. None of that. There's so much more there. But Dean Koontz was the guy that really got me, that just hooked me in, because I liked the way he wrote. He didn't spend a lot of time, we're talking like pages and pages and pages of describing someone's lapel pin. He got to the point. He stayed straightforward. And then I fell out for a little while. I just, I stopped reading, not going to lie. And then by the grace of the God, Mark Tufo, who's hanging up there, I got back in, met you guys. And ever since then, it's just been kind of one of these roller coasters of holy crap. There's so many writers in this world that I never knew existed. Had no idea. And it's amazing, some of the stuff that people put out. And then I get to talking to someone and they're like, yeah, I'm a plumber. Like, what?
I'm not a very good one, so I wouldn't put that on my resume anymore. I wasn't a very good teacher either, so hopefully I'll find my niche at some point in my life.
But I mean, and that's my point though, is there's genius hidden amongst the masses. It's out there. It's just a matter of getting it from mind to page. Once it gets there, then of course, obviously the court of public opinion has to do their thing. But I'm telling you, I have been so amazed by all this. Like, there's so much good up there. Trust me, there's not a book going on this wall if I don't, because I'll read every single book, the first few chapters, kind of get a feel for it before I have to go back to, day-to-day life, which is fun. But I'll at least get a taste of everything. And trust me, they're not going on that wall if within the first, 2 or 3 chapters, I'm not like, I need to get more of this. Because otherwise I'm just like, okay, yeah, what the hell? Toss. Yeah. And so far, I haven't tossed anybody. Like, everybody's going up there because it's just all good stuff. Now, Dave, have you ran into any situations with books where you just knew it was supposed to be great and then it turned out not to be so much?
Yeah, but I can't. They made such a low impression, I can't think of names.
Yeah, I blocked them from my mind.
That tells you everything you need to know right there.
Yeah.
It's like I literally can't even remember you.
Yeah.
You're not even worth that much.
By the same token, I've had a couple of others that I've picked up that it's like, I don't care what she writes, I'm going to read it. It's like...
Say, hell, name drop.
Kyla Stone.
I've seen that name. Yeah.
Yep. I've read a couple of hers.
I started reading her one that had the nuclear bomb in Miami. That's I get the series, but I started reading that and it's like, well, that was a pretty good book. So I started reading book 2. It's like, this is better than the first one. And ever since then, every new book that she comes out with is better than the previous ones. Like, how did she do that? I just,
Point of impact, Dave. Point of impact.
yeah.
Yeah, I read that a few weeks ago. It is very good.
Well, damn, hell yeah, very cool. And I can answer. I think non-expert over here. Why she keeps getting better is because she keeps doing it. She keeps learning. Just keeps getting better and better and better as she goes.
Yeah.
I think that's half the battle.
And actually,
if we're not getting better, we're not doing our job.
She actually ran into one of her books.
Now, did you die?
I never did finish reading the last book in the series, but I hadn't as of then. She kept me alive the whole time.
It's probably best you don't finish it then, Dave. Just keep that memory alive. You'll just see you fall at the last hurdle would be heartbreaking.
But
that brings up a good question. Do you guys like it when we kill you off in our books? Because I've done it. I know Dee has done it.
Yeah, I've killed loads of people.
It doesn't matter to me. I just appreciate being in the book.
Couldn't say it better myself. On the flip side of
that, I've had a couple of people complain that seeing names of people that they know in the books actually pulls them out of the book. Only a few, but in my case, I'm sure in Jeff's and Dee's as well, it's one of the only ways we can really thank you other than sending you a wad of cash. It's just murdering you horribly in our books.
Okay.
Well, I can get you to one up it. We stick around as MCs.
Now I've already said I've got a Civil War zombie series I'm toying with.
I like this.
Yeah, you're going to be an excellent Confederate, dude. Well, I'm one of the main characters I'm basing it on because it's history.
Mm-hmm.
Is I can't think of the guy's name. If you've ever seen Ken Burns' documentary series on the Civil War, he talks about a enlisted guy from Tennessee who's in the Confederate Army throughout the entire war. And he wrote a memoir of it afterwards. It's hilarious. It's called Company H.
That's right. Shit, I meant to write that down the last time. Writing it down now.
I can't think of the guy's name, but he's from Tennessee. And rather than using an historical figure and completely screwing that up, I'll just use Jack.
I couldn't possibly.
He'll make a phenomenal soldier.
Of course, I'm sure I'll look a little cleaner. Well, I'd actually come to think of it, Civil War. No, I'll probably look just about like this, pretty much.
Pretty much.
How malnourished,
might be
scraggly.
A little dirtier, yeah.
Now, Dave, have you been in any other books? Is that the only one you've been popped up in so far, or you open to being in some more?
I read one the other day. I don't know I can't remember who the author was. I didn't really know the author, but there's not too many Dave Ferrises with an A. And I wondered at the time, now, how did they pick first name, okay, Dave, fairly common, but Ferris with an A is not that common. And how it was a sort of in passing type thing. It was a post-apoc, and I wasn't killed off, but I was in another town. So,
Okay.
Just an honorable mention.
Yeah. What I do a lot for names. If you can see that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm staring at. All those names right there. I'll just mix and match first and last names, and I'm like, okay, that sounds cool.
Well, now we do know though that you have, used some of your old shipmates in the book series, which I find it fun as I'm listening, to kind of figure out, okay, was that one of the ones he said? I bet it was. I know that name sounds real. That sounds like a real person. And then of course, a lot of them killed. So, there's that. But it's still just a blast for me as a fan to know that kind of stuff, which is where shows like this, hell, they matter. Because, I mean, we get a chance to find out these names I'm seeing, these people you're killing, did you know them? Didn't you know them? It's fun stuff. It really is.
Well, again, now you're coming to the end of the second book, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you been
Got
through
about 45 minutes left.
All right. So you've been through the bit with the motorcycle.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
That
he
guy
kicked it.
that guy that's on the back cover. That's Gus.
Okay.
That's the actual Gus.
Oh hell yeah. Because dude, it's again, no spoilers or anything, but trust me, at the end of his little journey, he just dumps the bike and kicks the damn thing. It's just freaking hilarious.
Well, I sent that entire sequence to him when I wrote it, and he thought it was hilarious. He laughed his ass off. So,
it was so good, especially when he finally gets to his destination and everybody's like, "So, where's the zombies?" He's like, "Well, fuck." It's so damn good. Like I said, you guys go check out Guardians of the Apocalypse by Jeff Thompson. Don't play around. Don't BS about this because
I'm
my
move
god,
it a little bit
good.
further up my list.
And I'm starting to get my ass onto this Hellspawn bandwagon.
Don't bother. It hasn't got any Coast Guards in it.
I'm looking
far more
forward to it.
interesting than mine.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's I mean, we all make mistakes in the indie publishing. My mistake in terms of Hellspawn was I made it my ode to sort of like George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. So it takes place in one sort of village, sort of one house over the course of the first few days, as well as the outbreak itself and the chaos of the outbreak. But my biggest regret was until book 2, they don't get any further than their home, and then it kind of just goes absolutely nuts as they're making their way across England. Going back to it, if I had my time again, one, I wouldn't release it until the whole series was done, so that I'm not under pressure.
Really?
Yeah, I honestly, the next few series that I'm going to release are going to be completely finished before I drop book 1, simply so that I can rapid release them. That's my Vampire series, my Nuke series, and my Dying World series, as well as interspersed with Hellspawn, Devoured World, Infernal, and Ascension. They're going to be in there, but I'm not going to piecemeal it and one book and then 4 months for the next one and then a year for the next one if the brain's just no. And that's one of the things I wish I'd done back in the day. Done a little bit more research and worked out that it would be better to just bank them, and then drop on a decent schedule. Whereas at the minute, like George R.R. Martin, I mean, how long has he been writing the next one in Game of Thrones? He's going to be dead before it comes out, and I'm dying to know what happens next. And I think that's a fear with a lot of readers.
Yeah,
they've said to me they don't want to invest time in up to book 4 or up to book 6 when they know there's going to be 10 books in it. They like to know that there's an end point reached before they will invest their time in it, which I completely understand. And as I say, give my time again, I'd write an entire series before dropping it. And going forward, other than my 4 normal series, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, well, now here's my thing. Now, as a fan, I like both concepts, honestly, because one, I don't want to have to wait for the next book, so it would be great to have the next book there. I guess it's like modern society. We stream everything. It's like, I'll just wait till the whole series is on TV, then I'll watch it all at once. But some things, you're just like, no, I can wait for the next one. Just give me this one. Don't make me wait for the whole thing. Give me. So I kind of find myself in this middle ground of, I like the one concept, but I also like the other concept too, because at least I have something. Because you got to figure at times for certain readers, especially if they're like a specific fan, like a fan of yours, fan of Jeff's, and a fan of Dee's, but that's really it. You're the only authors we keep up with. Well, if we got to wait for an entire series to come out, we got
No,
nothing.
I appreciate that. As I say, that's why I'm going to kind of do it around my normal releases. I'm lucky that I've got a back catalogue that I can build on slowly while in the background creating the other worlds and still drop a zombie book or a mutant book, around. And then when they're done, it's, boom, 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 month one, month two, book two, three, book three. And as I say, there's none of the. It's only a small portion that it affects, but I hadn't even thought about it in those terms, Jack. But that's absolutely perfect. Our habits have changed completely to expecting boom, 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 binge.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
10 years ago, we were quite happy, like when Walking Dead came out, we were happy to wait for the next week. We talked about it for a week. We digested it. And nowadays, it's, most of the time, the entire series drops and it's done within a day. So, yeah, I guess it's those kind of people that don't enjoy the wait that are kind of the ones that are dropping hints about, waiting months between releases.
Well, I mean, besides, how are people like me and Dave supposed to give you guys shit if you just drop the whole series all at once?
Yeah,
it's more fun to bug you when we're waiting on the next book.
God forbid that should happen. Well, that's the problem I ran into with the Guardian series. As I wrote the first book, and if you'll notice, the end of the first book, I could have just ended it there. That's the end of the story. But people liked it so much that I was like, okay, so I'll put the second one out. And then people started going, where's the next one? Where's the next one? So it's like, okay, there it is. There it is. There it is.
And we are very thankful for it. And we need you to keep going. In fact, speaking of which, I think probably me and Dave should just run this show. Shouldn't you two be writing right now?
I finished my word count for today earlier. I done my 3,000 words.
Hell yeah, Angel Ramon will be impressed. You need to post that so he can see it. He'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, I don't do the daily word counts. My daily word count is 2,000 to 3,000, and so far I'm managing to keep up with that. So, but some days you have a drought. The mind just says you're not getting anything down today.
Well, now, guys, when y'all are sitting down to start the next book in the series, because both of you guys have series now, so we'll jump straight to that. Do you already have a total word count in your mind? Like, I'm going to make this book this long, and you aim for that, or do you just kind of just start writing it and you get where you get, and there's where the end of the book is?
I kind of get, after I've started writing it, I get a sense of the I don't know, parameters of the thing, of the story as I'm telling it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can say, okay, this is going to be fairly short, or no, this one's going to be a long one.
Yeah,
so it depends.
I always manage to, without even trying, make them about 80 to 100,000 by the time I've wrapped up the bits that are happening in it. I don't know how I manage it. What's the term, idiot savant or whatever it is. It just, but it seems I basically have a finale in every book that I have in mind for the ba-ba, and then the slow coast down to build up ready for the next one, and then the finale again. And it's kind of dependent on the different groups. I'll write the bits and pieces to get them into position for that finale and the firefight, whatever it is. But it always seems to work out. Most of my books are about 80 to 85,000. Some of my my demon books are over 100,000. But as I say, it always tends to fall around the 80 some odd thousand word mark, and it's not planned. That's just when the dust has settled, everyone's taken a pause for breath. What now? And then the end, and then the next story picks up towards the next finale, kind of thing. So yeah, it's 80,000 to 100 is my goal, and for some reason I always hit it without even thinking.
before I start these things, I know where the story begins and I know where it ends. The rest of it is whatever. It just happens. But there are certain logical steps you have to take to get from A to B. You can't just, if you've got to cross the entire United States, it's not going to happen in one chapter.
Unless it's
So,
Kiefer Sutherland TV series.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
but, yeah, and time means nothing at all. Yeah, yeah. Well, the first four books of the Guardian series were all about 100,000. Book four is like 110 ish, somewhere in there. The next five, which were a different part of the story, are each about 50,000. But that's because each of those books takes place over 2 weeks. So it's a specific time frame. When the 2 weeks is up, well, that book's done.
Hmm.
The next 2 weeks, that book's done. So it's just the story itself, kind of, for me anyway, dictates how long the thing is going to be.
Well, so for a visual cue, so everybody can see kind of what that looks like. These are the books he just mentioned.
That's a nice
And
pile of books.
these are lethal. Me and Jeff talked about this. If a zombie apocalypse breaks out, dude, I am cracking spines with these things. But that right there, to me, that's about right. That's about a good novel right there. I mean, if you go too thick, in fact, don't make me drag Javin's freaking book 8 down here. That damn thing's a fucking encyclopedia. But that right there, I mean, as you can see, they're consistent, and I mean they're about the right length, and you get all of the freaking story. Oh, and a beautiful back cover, by the way, if I can get out of the glare. Pretty stuff. So yeah, that's why I'll get fascinated about how you guys think this thing all the way through, because I actually sat down and tried to write some goofy thing. It's inspired by y'all, whatever, it's your fault. And I realized real quick, I'm like, no, I'm not even trying to do this. This is not happening. Like, no. I got my little thing. I kept it. Still have my little notebook over there, and I'm like, that's
Yeah,
far as I'm
never
going
put
with
that
that.
away because you never know. I never imagined in a million years I'd sit there and write out a book and then write out another 14 and then have another 50 in my head. Never in a million years. But no, going back to your point, Jack, I'm exactly the same as Jeff. I know where the people are when they start the book. I know where they're going to be. Maybe not them, but I know what the story's going to finish with. And some people die along the way that I wasn't planning to die along the way. They kind of just get themselves into stupid situations, and you're like, bye. I didn't see that coming. And then zombie food. It's
So wait, you literally get surprised by your own kills
Yeah.
at times?
Oh, yeah.
completely.
Well, yeah.
It's sometimes something happens, and you're like, and you just follow that. What was Alice in Wonderland? You follow that little down the rabbit hole, and next thing you know, somebody's zombie food. You think, I'm gonna have to change the next book because they were going to be in the next book, and now they're not going to be in the next book.
That was actually going to be my follow-up question was, well, what do you do if you already had plans for this character and now you're like, yeah, you're dead.
Yeah, you're like, so you delete that file and you start again from scratch, and then they get themselves in even more stupid positions.
Yep.
So Jeff, that's the same for you.
Oh, yeah. There's a certain, for lack of a better term, magic that happens. You, at least I, start writing. Like I said, I know where it starts. I know where it ends.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start writing, and then just things will happen. There are times when I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh shit, yeah, that's a good idea. And then for most of the last 4 years, which is I published the first one in 2018, beginning of 2018, and for most of the time between then and now, I was driving over the road, so I had a lot of time to think. is you're sitting there like this. And that's all you're doing. Yeah, so there's plenty of time to think, and I'll just mull the story idea over in my head, and it's like, oh, that's a good idea. Well, that makes sense. If this happened, oh, wow, that's cool. And well, you brought this up a number of times, Jack. It's the old adage, write what you know. Well, the reason why writing what we know is so important is that chance favors the prepared mind. If you know your subject matter, if you know the foundation of it, or if you know what the life is like me, I spent 14 years in the Coast Guard, so I know this stuff. That allows that magic to happen. It's like I've got that knowledge base, and I'll just be, oh, yeah, that works. Oh shit, this is cool.
See, that's one of the fun things about your series is when you get to describing all the different bases and the places that you've actually been. You have physically been in those places. And yes, I did finally get to the part where you essentially told your real life story of your trip from Alaska to Hawaii and how much fun that was. And the way you wrote the main character for that dude was freaking brilliant because he was just like the only one. I can get out of the bunk. I'm good. And he just go out and do his job because, as you always said throughout, it has to be done. And
that's the basic idea behind the whole series is how do you put normal people? I mean, none of these guys. Jonesy is the only one with any specialized training. Period.
He's
the only one.
Ninja.
Yeah, he's had specialized law enforcement training. Nobody else has. So you're putting a bunch of average people into an impossible situation. So,
and yeah.
And so either you give up and crawl into a ball in a corner and cry, or you get on with the job of doing what you have to do. That's the standard post-apocalyptic trope. It's people responding to an impossible situation, whether it be an EMP or zombies. It's the same. It's the same. It's all about the people in it. You make your characters do something realistic.
So now it's one of the things I found like really cool. Again, I'm gonna keep sticking with it because I got to get on Ricky. I ain't got on Ricky yet, but I'm heading that way.
I'll ask some questions at Dave in a sec.
But there's a part in book 2 that I got to where they finally realize there's more survivors than just what we know of. The ones that are on the ships that are safe at sea, kind of waiting for things to play out, and they discover all the people on the roof. How did you come up with the idea? Because you've got to be able to explain why they're up there and how they're up there and why they're still alive. And granted, I'm reading it, so I kind of know what's going on. But for the people that don't, how did you explain that they're okay? They've been up there for days now.
I specifically haven't explained it. I will explain it some when I write the prequel, which is the origin story of the virus and how the virus itself unfolds. But I didn't want to tie it down with a lot of explanations that the people involved, the characters involved, wouldn't necessarily know.
No, and they wouldn't.
I mean, if you come into a harbor and you see a bunch of people on the roof, your first question isn't going to be how did they get up there? It's how the hell are we going to get them down? So I've been trying to tell the story through the eyes of the people in it. Would they know this answer? Would they have this answer? No. Does having the answer really change anything? No. They're still, I mean, their job has always been saving people's lives, rescuing people. That's what the Coast Guard does. It's what it's always done. So the job hasn't changed. The reason behind it has, but the job hasn't. It's just a lot crazier than it ever was.
Yeah, which
And
that brings me to something that we're going to talk about, me and you, offline. There's a certain sequence of events that take place involving the Coast Guard and civilians, and let's just say it doesn't end so well for the civilians. But I digress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
even
you
your
continue-
Coast Guard have got armed boats, haven't you? We've got
they don't.
dinghies.
That's just it, though. They're not mostly armed.
Oh,
They
Most
do.
of them
okay.
not armed.
They sort of have armed boats. Sort of.
Okay.
Sort
Yeah,
of.
no, you're fine. No.
It's the reason. One of the reasons that I chose the Coast Guard was that they're the most like a normal civilian organization, as opposed to like the Special Forces or the Navy SEALs or in the Marines or these instant Rambos who know everything about combat and are trained in this stuff. But they're a bunch of they're like the people in the Coast Guard are like an organized version of everybody else.
Yeah.
That's
So
a damn good description.
they have some weaponry, but they're not firing 16-inch guns. They're firing a 50 caliber machine gun. So it's not this unlimited weaponry. Let's just blow the hell up out of everything. It can be fun. It can be rough.
Yeah, there have been a few situations throughout where I've been like, I wish we could have done that, but there's not. But that also, damn it, that brings up another subject I need to talk to you about offline. I'm sorry, people that are watching this right now. There's certain things I can't tell because
Spoiler
they're full on
alerts.
spoilers. They're full on spoilers. But yeah, I definitely got questions for that guy right there. Pretty as he is.
And speaking of which, I encourage readers to ask the writers questions.
Yes.
Ask us. If you don't understand something, ask us. We'll be more than happy to explain it to you. We'd be delighted to explain it to you.
Well, real quick, Dave, do you have a burning question that's just been eating at you that you want to ask just an author in general? Throw it at them. Right now is the time.
Not really. First of all, I wasn't really sure what I was getting into here.
Welcome to the
join the
padded
club,
room,
Dave.
But a lot of the things where I've had questions, we've discussed them. Do you make up your locations, or are they realistic? Is it? By the way, Jeff, I was at headquarters for 18 months for the Coast Guard back in the 80s. I was
during the Yost years.
Huh?
During the Yost years.
Yes.
The Yost Guard. I remember it well.
Yeah, I was on the computer security team. So boy, I had some stories I could have told about that. We'd go out and do computer security checks on the different locations.
Well, hell, throw a story out there. You got at least one. Throw it out there.
Well,
Yeah,
went down to preview the sites. We were doing a combination of FAA and Coast Guard. And I got down to New Orleans. I got up on top of the Coast Guard building there, looking at and a damn tropical depression came through and almost blew me into the corners. No warning or anything.
Jesus.
It's unbelievable.
That's Mother Nature for you.
Yep. But yeah, I enjoyed. I was young enough that I did a lot of traveling, which was fine.
Where's the coolest place you ever went?
That's hard.
Been to plenty of places then.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I went. I never did make it up to Alaska. I wanted to make it.
Jeffy did.
But otherwise, I was all wherever they had a district office, I was pretty much there. So I can't remember, was it 12 districts?
14.
14.
Actually, 17. 17 if you
Damn, number keeps going up.
the last is 17. Well, it used to be 1 through 17, but it changes. They consolidate things, constantly reorganizing whether it needs it or not. That's the government for you.
Yeah.
Dave, if I may, you're a reader of wider APOC sort of than ZOMPOC, because obviously the reality side of things. Is there areas of the apocalypse that you feel are underwritten in terms of, and this is a purely selfish, I'm looking, for niches that I might be able to hit up potentially in the future. Is there areas that you think I would love there to be more of this? Yeah.
Most of the time, most of the post-apoc has to do with the EMP or the CME, or a virus.
Okay, what's a CME? I need it. What's that?
Coronal mass ejection. It's like a sunspot.
Oh, okay.
Big time sunspot.
Big time, yeah. Some of what we're getting around here right now that a lot of people don't realize. There was a big one came 3 weeks ago, I think, and thank goodness we were on the backside of the Earth when it hit Earth. It knocked out quite a bit of third world country electricity and stuff.
I think they published some pictures of the eruption from the sun on that. It was horrifying.
Huge. Yeah.
That's our life, and it's spitting at us. And
That's a good way of putting it.
It's like, okay, you normally have to pay extra for that kind of thing, but you're like, just whatever we've done to upset you, we will sacrifice some virgins. Just please stop spewing that stuff at us, because it is not fun.
No,
yeah, but not Jeff. We won't sacrifice Jeff.
No. People I don't like.
I'm a born again virgin, so one thing in the post APOC genre that I haven't seen, and I've been kind of wondering about this. Have you heard of or seen a post APOC book about what would happen if the magnetic poles reversed?
Oh, yes, where the Earth would flip.
Yeah, because it's happened before. It has happened before. The poles flip.
I'm going to have to look it
positive
up.
becomes negative.
Yeah.
So
And
that
suddenly
would be
we're
ice on the
south and everybody else
equator
is north.
melted on the south and north pole. Would that be the result?
I don't
Hold on
know.
the equator?
I honestly don't know. I don't know what the result would be. I know that
I'm definitely not writing this down.
electronic devices probably wouldn't work too well, at least at first, because the polarity's been flipped.
But what effect would it
course.
have on our bodies?
I don't know.
Well, and the other one that I just saw somebody was it you, Jeff, that asked? An apocalypse area. So what happens if the Earth quits spinning?
Yeah, I saw that.
We all float away.
Eventually, yeah. But somebody pointed out on that post.
That's the other one. That and the pole were the two big things.
Yeah, it would take a long time for the Earth to actually stop spinning.
Yeah, like a record player coming to a stop versus and you just stop it right there where it's at.
It wouldn't stop on a dime.
Because if it stopped on a dime, I'm telling you, we are headed for points unknown.
Be the first humans on Alpha Centauri.
Damn Skippy.
There'll be much of us left by the time we got there, but it's the thought that counts, isn't it?
Maybe that's why we're all into the zombie thing, because we'll just land there, reanimate, eat everybody, and take over the damn planet.
Just imagine some alien species like What's that guy got a bandana on?
See, now there's an interesting question. Why do you suppose apocalyptic fiction, be it standard, reality-based apocalypse or zombie-based apocalypse, why do you suppose it's so popular?
Oh, that's easy because we worry about it every day on the subconscious level. We all worry. I mean, look at what we got going on right now with the Ukraine and Russia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we always are at the precipice of something really freaking bad happening. So it's almost like we feel on a primal level like we need to be ready for it. So why not just go ahead and embody it, put it out there? Could happen. Here's what you might want to do, without realizing you guys are actually putting out instructional manuals. Like, here's some things you might want to consider before the apocalypse starts. And then when it starts, we run with it.
How does that explain why the idea of an apocalypse has been around for the entirety of human history?
The Bible.
Well, that's what the end times are.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
what Armageddon is. It's the end of the world. Lately I've been thinking about this a lot because that's how I roll. And it occurs to me that it may be because we humans have never been satisfied with where we are now. It's like we enjoy post-apocalyptic fiction because we don't want to be here. Someplace inside of us, we don't want to be here.
Yes, escapism.
Yeah,
I can definitely agree with that because that's exactly what it is. It is escapism. I would love to be able to know that I could just go loot some random convenience store and get whatever I want, go hide out my place and just not be bothered. Just hide out, play video games. If I can get some solar power going of some sort, or just whatever. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and the funny thing about it is, here we are, 4 of us all sitting here hanging out. Mm-hmm. And on some level, every last one of us has a little bit of that antisocial in us. Well, we just rather not deal.
Of that antisocial.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's got a lot to do with why a lot of us enjoy the apocalyptic stuff that we do, is because there's a hint of antisocialism in those people, myself included. Because I got one of my best friends in the whole wide world. He's a brother from another mother. He freaking talks too much. It's not me, but yeah. But this dude can literally keep me on the phone for a freaking hour, and I'm just sitting there going,
you.
"Yeah."
Projection.
But he's telling me about car repairs and computer work that he's done, and I'm just sitting there going, "Dude, we're literally talking about work. Can we seriously talk about something else?" And if I bring up zombies, written undead, apocalypse, anything like that, his eyes just glaze over, and I'm like, dude, you literally just owned an hour of damn conversation. So, there's a reason why I'm somewhat antisocial. Like, okay, enough, get off me.
He's the first one getting noticed.
Yeah. What about you, Dave? What do you think?
Oh, real quick. Shit.
I think the biggest thing is escapism.
Mm-hmm.
That just give me away from this. I can't take any more. It's and unfortunately, an awful lot of the world now, you can't get away from no matter what you do.
No.
Yeah.
That's why I did my Facebook group that I did, was because I was so tired of reading in the other Facebook groups for the naked and afraid people, and then chewing the living daylights. Those people, if they're willing to go out there and take their clothes off, and they only last 1 hour, they have my respect. Because you just and trying to get the people to understand. I've got 4,300 members, and I've probably rejected close to 2,000 because they were sex addicts.
Yeah.
They, why do you join
naked,
the group?
naked.
I want to see naked people. Well, you're not going to see naked people.
Yeah, wrong place.
I came
because
back right on time. Sorry
But,
about
you
that.
know-
I'm getting old. Nature called.
But yeah, that's to me that is it. No matter where you go, you can't get away from the stuff.
Mhm.
And then unfortunately we come up with this damn virus thing, and it's
You know,
You couldn't make it up.
I've been essentially a hermit for the last year or so. I mean, I rarely leave my apartment. I don't drive much because 10 years over the road, I'm over it. I don't need to drive.
I've
Been
seen
there,
it.
done that. But even though I'm shut off from the rest of humanity, I'm probably more social now than before the pandemic. I'm just social this way.
yeah.
Yeah. Some people look down on it. Yeah, it's there was a meme that came up the other day that sums it up really well. It was basically along the lines of a wife came in to find her husband playing video games, and one of the people they used to play video games with had passed away, and they were basically having a wake while playing video games because he made such an impact on their life. They'd never touched hands, they'd never shook hands, they'd never seen each other in real life, but the connection was still there, you know. And I think this, as I hate and love social media with equal fervor because it is
Yes.
disgusting.
Yes.
Dave, you've got the right idea. You're keeping that disgusting element out of your group because it can make it utterly toxic. And
Yeah.
a lot of groups do not do that. And I scroll by and I see pylons and I'm just like, I'm deleting that group. I don't, there's enough grief going on as it is. I don't need to be reading. And it brings up another meme. People are getting far too used to saying something about someone without getting smacked in the teeth for it.
Damn right.
Yes. That's
Right. It's like you wouldn't
Yeah.
dare say this to this person. I see women being spoken to like dirt, and you think,
Yep.
if I saw someone doing that in the street,
I'd smack
I'd
the
give-
fuck out of them.
yeah, but it's become normalised. So yeah, it's don't know, but no. In terms, my opinion on the APOC is one, escapism. Two, it's imagining us in those scenarios, and the third thing is the tiny little hope that we would actually make it through to the end, knowing that we wouldn't. But I've
Well,
got
see,
that
now that's where I hold out
little
hope that
bit.
yes, we could. I believe in the human being that
Yeah,
we
and
will
that
find a
brings
way
me to a
continue
third
being.
meme.
Uh-oh,
That
here
brings
we
me to
go.
the third meme, which is the one with the pie chart, and it says things you would do in the apocalypse, and it's like tiny little sliver, find a safe place, tiny little sliver, find an island, and the rest of it is bright red. You would taste delicious. Realistically, I think most of us would be we'd be a fine meal for the undead. But as I say, it's that little. Would I be the one? Would I be the one that remakes mankind? Would I get to the end of it?
All right. Well, I'm going to show you something here real quick. Let me readjust the camera for artistic purposes. As you can see,
no dropping trout now.
I know ain't no dropping trout.
He did come back when we were talking about naked people.
I am T-tiny. I already look like I'm emaciated, so all I gotta do is get the walk.
Yeah,
I get the walk,
perfect.
and I'm good. So yeah, you chunky motherfuckers get your asses eat. I'm gonna be over here just chilling.
What was it saying? Zombieland, poor fat bastard.
Yes.
Rule number one: cardio. Nah, I'd be like.
Well, that's why I got to do. That's why I got to do the walk.
Yeah, I'd be like, guys. Yeah, I'm just gonna lay down. You just do what you've got to do.
Yeah.
Start with the part that kills me the quickest.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack, you and I were talking about the act of falling on a grenade for somebody. That is one situation I absolutely know I could fall on a grenade. If if people had to get away, and somebody had to slow whoever down, be it
Uh-huh.
a roving band of thieves or a bunch of zombies or whatever, yeah, I'd pull the pin because there's no way I'm getting away from them. So might as well.
I would attempt to fall on the grenade, fall over my own feet, land to the side of it, direct the blast at the people I'm trying to save, and ultimately kill every one of us.
It collapsed the building, the whole
Bring it up, bring the whole damn thing down. We're all out of here.
Oh yeah.
All right, Dave, let me ask you kind of along that same lines of that question, except I'm going to have fun with the question and say it's the young Dave. It's the, say, 26-year-old Dave. What's he doing at the beginning of the zombie apocalypse?
Or any apocalypse.
Or any apocalypse.
Headed from a bug out spot location.
So you're already working on that for that long? You've been doing this for a long time now.
My whole life I have been doing something like this. I didn't consider it prepping necessarily.
Uh-huh.
It's just the way I was raised. I'm an Eagle Scout, so I had all that training.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was in the Navy, and so I had those type of core guidelines. We never threw anything out because we might need it or might have use for it. It may not work, but maybe some part of it will work and something else will work. You don't throw a TV out because it quit working. You find out what the problem is and you fix it. So it's just I've had the what is now considered prepping all my life.
So now, how are your canning skills?
Fair, but it's I haven't done any pressure canning.
Okay.
The water bath, and the only reason I haven't done the pressure is because I don't have a pressure cooker at this point. My mom, going on 3 years ago, we had to put her into the assisted living. We had lived in that house that we were in for 50 years. And my brother-in-law decided that we were going to have to get out of the house within like a week and a half and sell it. My mom asked him to sell it, but he was the one that decided the time frame. And he had no idea how much stuff we had to go through and figure out what do we want and what do we not want. Well, one of the things that got lost in the shuffle was her pressure cooker.
Oh man!
And I've just never had a chance to go back. I'm actually retired on Social Security, but my first two wives took care of my retirement that I have. So I'm limited on what I can. And then on top of that, a year ago, February 6th, I checked into the hospital for a beautiful 14-day expenses paid vacation with Corona.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh.
And the doctor, as I was checking out of the hospital, the doctor said, well, Mr. Ferris, if you'd come in 2 hours later, we wouldn't be talking right now.
Oh, shit.
I mean, that's how close I came. I didn't have to go on the ventilator, but I'm still, I can't walk. I used to love to walk miles and stuff. I can't walk 50 steps, 75 steps without having to stop and take a break and rest. And all because of so a lot of the stuff that I would have done naturally before and could have done in a post-apoc, I don't know if I could do right now or not.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, much younger, I'd have been fine.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I'd have been okay. 10 years of driving a truck beat the living shit out of my body. My back is wrecked. So,
Well,
yeah, I walk 50 steps and I'm like,
Well, you know what? Actually, on a
It's
completely
not pretty.
non-zombie related actual question, because I work in a warehouse. I'm a warehouseman. I operate a forklift, reach truck, pallet jack, yada, 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 do all that. So I interact with truck drivers all the time. One thing I encounter a lot, my regular drivers, the ones that are just basically shuttle running, they go from there to here and back again and they're done. We have decent relationships, but it's the over the road drivers, the ones that are driving from fucking Oregon to where I'm at, and they make stops along the way. Those guys seem like they're really lonely. Is that like a thing? Like where you just have to talk to the people at the warehouse about everything?
That's just depends on it depends on your like personality, I guess. Um, you you have to be you have to be comfortable with your own self.
Hmm.
You gotta, you're the only one you're stuck with all day long. There are days I didn't talk to anybody.
See,
I
that's
might.
interesting. The radios, the old 10-4 breaker, good buddy on the old what are the old programs we used to watch, like Smoking
CB
the Bandit
radios.
and all that kind of stuff. I would have thought that you guys would be just chatting on that, but is that
Yeah,
not
I
the
did. I would
case?
too. I was the same as
Most,
him. I would think that.
most of that chatter is far right wing nut. Just they spend all day listening to right wing talk radio.
Yeah, but you can still have a chat with them.
Sometimes.
Steer them
Otherwise, they're just
away.
pretty much
You
angry
you
most
get
of the
yeah
time.
you get these guys who you'll see them in a Wendy's and they're giving a lecture on I don't know how much of a master criminal Hillary Clinton is or whatever, and it's whatever you think on whatever end of the political spectrum you find yourself, the extremes are the ones that make the most noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the extremes are fucking fruit bats.
So what you're
It's
saying
like,
is the conversations are somewhat interesting.
well, yeah, and it's prodigious use of the F bomb.
Well, because I mean, me
It's like,
saying that is because usually when the truck drivers, the long haul drivers that show up at my place, it's usually they won't talk about everything but politics or whatever. They're just like, hey, yeah, my kid just did a thing, or I get to do
well,
this
it
thing with the
depends
wife. There's
again.
like just some small talk. Just let me talk about something regular
It
for a minute.
depends. It depends on the person. I never listen to the radio. I would listen to audiobooks.
That's me.
I would listen to audiobooks, and I found that because I love music. It's like 200 some odd gigabytes of music on my computer.
Damn.
It's
Blimey.
huge. It's huge. I could start at the beginning of the list, and I would die before I reached the end of it. That's
Well,
how
don't
many
do that.
It's
songs
like
I
my book
have.
pile.
Yeah, that's how many songs I have. But I discovered that music, when you're listening to music, it's too easy to zone out. When you're driving 70
Yeah.
miles an hour in a 40,000, with a 40,000 pound load in an 80,000 pound truck, it's like zoning out isn't a good idea.
No.
So, yeah, I would listen to audiobooks, a lot of audiobooks.
Well, now, sticking along those lines, I mean, okay, you got to think about it. This is a big reveal out here for the super fans.
Mhm.
You're a truck driver, not an author. You didn't write books or anything, and yet here you are now as an actual author, a legit, like in name freaking author. How, if you'd asked the 20-year-old you that question, do you see yourself at some point being an author? What would that kid have said?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I I was asked I was like fifth or sixth grade. The teacher asked us to write down what we wanted to be when we grew up. I wrote down a sailor or a writer. I
Brilliant.
ended up being both.
Mhm.
It just happened that way, but I've been writing stories ever since I could form complete sentences. It's one of those things that has always come naturally to me. So even if I hadn't published on Amazon, I'd still be doing it. I just wouldn't be getting any money for it. Not that I'm getting rich now, but
Yeah, you wouldn't be sitting here right now.
I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah.
This question here is for both of you. Actually, in fact, I'm gonna bring Dave into this one too. Have any of you three ever written a poem?
Sure.
Yeah.
Badly.
No,
Do
other than at school, no. It's
what?
no. It's I don't know why. Now that you've mentioned it,
I'm
being a writer,
thinking
I
the
suppose
same
it'd be a
thing.
natural thing. But no, no.
Well,
No,
shit.
I'm ashamed to
You
say.
have homework. You have homework.
Oh,
By the way.
no.
So now, Dave, do you still remember yours?
No.
No, I wouldn't think so. I don't remember any of mine
I
either.
don't, I don't
Even
either.
though I did have one, and you guys, I got a couple offers here. I've never been able to ask this before. Holy crap, I can ask this. I wrote a long freaking poem. We're talking Samuel Taylor Coleridge length, which
That's
basically
a
was
long
like,
shit.
yeah, it was basically like my life. As at this point, I think I wrote it when I was like 19, maybe 20. I'm 46, about to turn 47. So it's been a while ago, but I titled it, and y'all tell me if the title makes any damn sense whatsoever. Delusions of the Abstract Mind.
Oh, I like that. Good
Yeah,
title.
very nice.
Yeah.
Good
So
title.
that was okay, sweet. Yeah,
Good
for years
title.
I thought that I had like just the whole abstract mind thing wouldn't work right, or the delusions of wouldn't
Ooh,
make sense, and I just never did the research for if it even made sense. But it popped in my head to use that as a title for this
that's a
really
great title.
long-winded poem. So
Yeah, I
since
like that.
obviously I'm never going to try to rewrite the poem because I don't remember the poem. If anybody wants to use that, have at it. There you go. Look, a fan giving something away. Have fun with it. So hey,
But
Dave. Oh shit! No, go
I
ahead, Jeff.
got, I got,
Oh, I was just going to ask Dave. What is your most prized possession in your prepper gear? What's the one thing you got that you would not part with?
Well, I've got I've got more than one, but basically my water filters.
that's important.
Yeah,
That's
That's
yeah,
very
yeah.
damn
essential.
important.
I've got 2 life straws. I've got 2 or 3 of I never can remember the damn name. They're like life straws, but they're smaller. And everybody keeps talking about these Burkitts or Berkeys or something or other now. I've never seen those. I'm gonna have to do some research on them.
Mm.
Supposedly, they're you can actually like hook them up to your house, type of thing, and they will handle that much of a volume.
Huh.
Blimey. On that note, Dave, how
But I
long?
would think that.
Sorry, mate.
Go
I
ahead.
thought you. No, I was just going to say, at what point do life straws cease to function? Is it like 100 liters, 200 liters, 300 liters, or is there some kind of flushing process where you could then re-energize them, or do they have a specific? This will help you for 10 days, 20 days at 6 liters a day, or
The life straws, it's something phenomenal. 5,000 liters.
geez.
Huh.
It's and I also have a Katydine water filter that I got back. Had to be early 70s, and I have actually literally drank the water directly from the Potomac River with it.
Okay. Yeah, with George
Brilliant.
Washington sweat and everything in it.
Yep. But it and I tried to my one of the hoses went bad, and I contacted Katydine, and they said, "Oh, it's going to cost you $50 to get that 8-inch piece of hose. And it's like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But that's got to be the one thing I would want.
All right, what's the one thing
keep you alive?
For real? You got to have the water. That's the quickest way to die.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'll follow up question that one with what's the one thing that you want that you don't have?
An Abrams tank.
Yeah, but besides a tank, you can't have a tank.
There seem to be some spares going in the Ukraine at the moment that have been abandoned.
Yeah.
There was a farmer selling one of the Russian tanks on eBay for $10,000. They abandoned it on his land, so he put it straight on eBay.
Why
And
not?
buyer to collect.
Yeah, I would say the one thing I'd like to have would be a heavy duty solar generator.
Ooh.
That's not a bad call.
That's good.
Not a bad call at all. Well, hell. So, Ricky, what's the one thing you don't have that you would like to have?
Everything. That's
you can't.
all joking aside. A gun. I don't mean to be that guy, but if
hell no, I'd want to
came between taking stuff off someone to feed my family, I'm sorry, I'm taking your stuff.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. But no, like I say, it's one of the things that's always fascinated me about America is the fact that you've got such a prepper culture. It's very, very niche over here, very minor. But you guys, you live and breathe it. I've got loads of friends that do it, and they're prepping food and they're doing this and they're doing that. You can sort of Nancy, and she's canning stuff, and I'm looking in my pantry and I've got probably enough food for a week. And you think, I'm in a bit of trouble here, because we're a lot more tightly packed than anybody else.
Oh yeah.
So when people start to get hungry, they're going to come knocking my door, and unless I've miraculously lost a lot of weight in the intervening weeks, they're going to know that I'm still eating. But no, in all honesty, I've got nothing I would like that. I can't say a gun because we're not allowed them. So same thing really. Being a plumber, a way to drink water safely. Food you can go without for weeks. I could probably go without for months and still be fine. Yeah, no, you like I say, mate. You just gnaw on my bloated carcass. you help yourself. You've got my permission.
Hell yeah! Now I just need the damn plane ticket to get over there to munch on your ass.
Yeah, I need to get back over. Go on, Dave.
He's moving around.
Yeah, I was just moving around.
Alrighty then.
Too long.
Yeah. A lot of that going around. Secretary spread.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I wish I did. Y'all don't understand how jealous I am of y'all. Y'all really don't. I mean, you see the skinny arm. Well, there it is again. Yeah, I'm jealous as hell of y'all. It's like, damn, I wish I had at least a little bit of size. I feel like I could run through something. It's like, no, right now all I could do is just bounce off of it cartoon-like.
Just throw us through it and then follow.
Well, the first thing is I had to be able to pick you up.
Just if you get just the right momentum on us, our center of gravity is not great, so we will automatically build up speed before we hit the thing. So, yeah, you.
All right. Well, if we find ourselves all together in a group, and I suddenly start putting like football helmets on y'all, don't think anything of it. It's just a thing. I'm protecting you.
If I were you, I'd invest in a cattle prod.
Hell,
Keep us all in line.
I already use one of them nightly.
I know that. That's don't ask, don't tell, buddy.
Yeah, didn't you hear they canceled that?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
All right, Dave. You've got to have a cool question, man. Throw something out there. What you got?
That's it. Put the guy on the spot.
I am. I'm gonna
Poor guy.
No pressure.
We're
how
getting towards
do
the
you
end of the
handle
show.
writing multiple, not just multiple books, but multiple series at the same time without getting
Bam.
all confused?
I win.
Go, Jeff.
This stuff is legal in Nevada.
It's not over here. It's not over here.
Not in Tennessee either, by the way.
I don't know. It helps that the ideas I have tend to be vastly different. For example, the current series is about zombies against the Coast Guard in Hawaii. The next one is going to be supernatural thrillers that take place during the Second World War in Europe. So it's completely different. So I can think about one and then think about the other, and I don't get them mixed up.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I mean, I've got 4 going at the moment. I've got my urban fantasy anti-superhero series. I've got my demonic impending gates of hell opening, enslaving our entire world series. I've got my 22nd century sci-fi mutant APOC series, and I've got my present day British UK George Romero style Zombie. It's the people ask me the same question. The funny thing is that once you've built the world in your head, it's kind of just like pulling up a file. The world you've created and spent so many hours thinking about, like when I'm walking the dogs.
Yep.
As long as they're not attacking other dogs, they're doing their thing, they're sniffing, they're weeing. My mind's thinking, like Jeff when he's driving. You've spent so long building these worlds. It's literally just a case of taking your head, plonking it into the others. The only tricky part to like where I have a particular break between series is basically just rereading the last one to kind of see where the characters were in terms of their thought processes. But the world itself is built. They just it's just a case of recapping where the characters were in terms of their mental state and then moving on from there. It's quite weird when you put it like that. But yeah, the worlds they're just waiting to be opened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Dude,
it's just they're there. It just waits for us to play in them.
Yeah.
All right, that's the question of the show right there. That's the winner.
Yeah, that was a brilliant question.
That was almost a damn mic drop right there.
Pretty close, man. Pretty close.
Yeah.
Dean is supposed to be back by now, but apparently not. We got about 10 minutes left before the end of this show.
Well, hell, I'm going to throw my line right back to where I just threw it before because it caught me one hell of a big fish. All right, Dave, give us another question.
Dave's going to suddenly have broadband issues.
No.
My little hot spot with a half a bar. Oh.
Let me ask. Oh, sorry. No, you carry on, Dave. I was just going to throw one.
Going. Other than within a series, have you used any of your characters in a different series?
Ooh.
As though they were either a new person or, oh yeah, I knew this or I knew that type of thing?
Not yet.
No, I mean, going back to your god, Mark Tufo, Jack, he took sort of Talbot across all manner of adventures, and he's done it phenomenally well. I've kept, not that I've not wanted to, it just hasn't in any way, shape, or form presented itself as an option yet. I mean, one of the sort of lead detective in my urban fantasy series, Rankin, he previously featured in one of my anthology short stories called Project 84 about sort of like genetics gone mad and what companies will do if they're left unmolested or unchecked.
Unchecked.
And I've brought him across into this, because people really responded well to him being just, miserable and hard nosed and, bitter with life. But in terms of character to character, they're in such massively different, from occult horror to, military sci-fi to UK horror zombie. There's never really been the option to integrate them from one to the other. Not that I never would, but I don't know how I would do it that seems plausible.
I guess for me, what I mean, it does actually make a shit ton of sense. But what messed me up, I guess, would have to be the Marvel Comics universe with the whole multiverse situation, where you can take a character and move them somewhere else, make a few tweaks to them, and now they're almost somebody different, and yet it's still the same person. So I could see that. But now, Jeff, what about you? You thought about doing that? Done that?
I have an idea for a spin-off of my Pressure series, the one about the volcano, featuring one of the characters.
Okay.
But that's it. And again, I have to finish the first 3 books yet. So, which I will. I keep promising myself, but I'm going to do it. I'll finish it this summer.
All right. Well, we're going to stay on your ass because now you got 3 faces here that all know who you are, and we know
and
about
it's recorded.
This book, so
it's live. It's recorded.
So
well, and unless one of you guys objects, I'm putting this on YouTube when we're done.
Oh,
Anybody objects to that?
No.
Nobody watches my YouTube channel, so.
Well, Joe Rogan started somewhere, and now look at him.
I'm not that much of a dick.
And you definitely have that going for you.
Everything starts from a single brick, though, doesn't it?
That's
Everything
true.
we build, our worlds, our books, everything starts from that first word. So,
like I mentioned earlier, I couldn't have imagined that I'd be sitting here talking to you guys a year ago. There's just no way that this is actually happening right now. I'm sitting here talking to 2 badass authors, and I got a cool ass fan hanging out with me.
Yeah,
this don't happen a year ago.
Yeah.
And trust me, we love it. We love
absolutely.
it. I want so much more of this.
Yeah, 100%.
Have either of you changed a series because of fan comments?
Oh, that's a good question.
I've got a Heather Carson.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote the Dandelion Project.
Oh, write that down.
I fell in love with that. She got done with the 3rd book, and I said, "When's the 4th book coming out?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought I pretty well wrapped it up. I said, "No." I said, there's more story there. I know
you were playing like, no, you ain't done. Right?
I think she's now up to. I think she ended up in either 5 or 6 books.
That's what happened with Guardians. It was originally 4 books.
Yeah.
And the 4 books, that was done.
Mm-hmm.
But people kept saying, "No, we want more. We want more. We want more."
Yeah, and now where are we?
There's 9. So I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get for writing beloved characters. That's what happens. It's not the book themselves. It's those damn characters. We love those people. We want to hang out with those people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the essential key to every story. It's not what happens. It's who it happens to.
And see, and that's why I want to throw this in real quick. There's a reason why we fans get so pissed off when y'all kill off certain characters, because we bond with them. We truly, on a different level that, hell, maybe you guys just don't understand. I'm gonna put my hands on my hips for that one. Maybe y'all don't realize that we actually bond with certain ones of these characters to where we want them to like come hang out with us in real life, and then they're dead. Come on, man.
When it's your time, Jack. You know, it's
shit. I'll have my time when it's my damn time.
And remember this: we're evil.
Yeah, the going back to memes again, the meme of us killing a character and then laughing and having a cup of tea. They're based in fact. I know
I
they're meant to
know,
be
I
humorous.
know.
They're based in fact. You know,
Now
I'm sat
see,
there with my little mug of tea, just sipping my china.
Mhm.
now see, right now y'all are frightening Dave. He's first chance to get to actually see this thing live and in person, and right now y'all are showing the horns. You know, I mean, they're popping out there prominently.
No, I suspect every writer has done this just to a certain extent.
Oh
Stephen
God, yes.
King, Stephen King famously said that at least at the beginning, the way his ideas formed in his head, it would be, wouldn't it be funny if,
That's
wouldn't it?
great.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be funny if there was a haunted hotel, or wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
it be funny if there was a creature of unspeakable evil who lived in the sewers under this town?
Mm.
That's. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I imagine Rick will agree with me on this. To be a writer, particularly in some of these genres, we got to be a little bit warped to begin with.
Yeah, it's you couldn't put the people through what we put them through if we weren't a little bit dark.
But what does that say about your fans?
We love
They're as
them.
mental as we are.
Exactly. Crazy AF.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we have reached 2 hours. So
Woohoo!
um, let's have some final thoughts from everybody. Jack, lay it out there.
All right, well, I'm gonna put my final thought out there. First off, this was a freaking blast, and yes, the world needs more of this fan meet author, author meet fan interaction.
We'll
No
be doing
question
this
that
at
needs to
least.
happen
We'll be doing this at least once a month.
once a month. And
At
honestly, after the
least.
fun I've had today, I'm easily available to sign on for more if we
Cool.
decide to go that route. Absolutely, this was so much fun. Dave, thank you so much for getting to pop on with me and be my fellow fan. Unfortunately, my friend Joe couldn't get her shit to work right. We're going to work on that during the week. She will eventually get on with us.
Awesome.
Ricky Fleet, I told you I was going to get you on the show, my man.
I keep
There he
answering
is.
your messenger. That's the problem. I need to just let you go to like unread and just like disappear down the list. Yeah, no, yeah. Cheers for hanging out with us, Dave. Jack, as always, it's a pleasure. Jeff, thanks for inviting me along, buddy. I really do appreciate it. But final
Absolutely.
thought, I absolutely love this. What's the blinking word? I'm a writer and I can't even think of the word. Having the readers alongside with us, because it's great to have our brains picked. We've got all
Yes.
these ideas in our head and the weird roundabout ways that we come up with certain things, and just having them pulled out as little nuggets to share to people. It's absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I'm looking forward to being invited on again if you'll have me.
Yeah, trust me, I will.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're part of the team
Absolutely.
now.
Oh Jesus.
Whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
you're
And
now our UK correspondent.
It's an
So,
honor. I'm
welcome to
humbled.
the team.
Yeah. Go
Dave?
on.
Yeah, like I said, I had no idea what Dee just asked me to if I was available. Well, I said, well, but I really enjoyed it.
Well, you got to
learn a
hang
lot.
out with two crazy fans, or well,
That-
you were one of the
that's
two
right.
crazy fans and two crazy authors.
We're still readers first and foremost, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Something for everybody to strive for.
Right.
I'm gonna make my own one and send it to myself.
Well,
Okay,
guys, I've
guys.
had a blast.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everybody that showed up. I don't know exactly what's going on with comments. These will be shared around to the various groups within the written universe, and written apocalypse, and written undead. And
But hell, we'll be keeping up with it. We'll all
and,
answer.
yeah, and by all means, talk this up. The more of these we can do, the better off I think everybody will be.
Hmm.
Just like you said, Rick, just the chance to talk to the fans directly to the fans.
The
And we're
format,
thinking of the idea
that's
is
what I was
every
looking
week
for. The
we're-
format is
and
brilliant.
and so the idea is every week we're going to try to bring on a brand new fan
Or 2 or 3.
or 4. Well, maybe not 4.
Well,
Yeah,
let's
maybe.
not get carried away.
The more the merrier.
Well, at a certain point, we'll have to add alcohol. So
Yeah.
God only knows how that can go. But
That'll be a
Probably
party.
not
We'll
safe
have
for
us
YouTube.
we'll have us some kind of a celebration party, and everybody will just get ripped.
I don't drink anymore, so about 3 drinks in, I'm going to be like that.
yeah, pretty much. I haven't. I think I had the last beer was 2 months ago.
Well, hot damn! How about this then? Y'all both just bring empty glasses that would normally carry what you would normally be drinking, and then you pretend to take a drink of it, and then I'll take a drink in real life for you, and we'll see how that plays.
Jack's going to be.
Oh no, I've seen it. I've seen it. He'll hang tight. We may not be able to understand what he says past a certain point, but he'll still be there.
We'll make it up in our own heads, I'm sure.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks to you guys for coming on. This is awesome.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Peace out, folks.
Thank you.
Peace.